Welcome. Life be lifin'. Life be lifin'. Have you ever lived life and in that stage of life, that season, that time, you were doing everything you need to do. You were accomplishing what you wanted to accomplish. You were branching out and doing the things that you hoped that you would be doing at that time and season. And you were making things work. You were able to start growing in a pattern that you were appreciating. And then life gets to life, and it happens in a way, sometimes a moment, a day, an hour, a second, where suddenly everything changes. Everything changes. Everything isn't the same. Everything isn't as lined up as it was. Everything wasn't going in the direction that you thought it was going to go. And then suddenly you realize life be lifing. You feel like that season's cut off. That season has ended. That season suddenly does not have that same glitz and glamour anymore. I had a very interesting thought, speaking of seasons, that spring is on the way. So you go out and you're going to get the garden, the yard, the plants, whatever you're doing ready for the next season. So naturally you go and find whatever is dead, whatever is broken, whatever didn't make it from the last season. You get the leaves, you get the branches, you get all the ugly stuff out of the way, bag it up, get it into the compost pile or whatever you're gonna do. But then that's the easy part. Anybody can see what's dead and see that it doesn't work anymore. And yeah, I can gather that and toss that out. But what happens when you need to prune what's alive? I have this tree in my yard, and I know what I want it to do. I want it to grow. I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be full of life. One of the things I'm very grateful for is that my trees look great. My trees actually do look great, while other trees are kind of struggling. And one of the things I do every year is I have to prune my tree. I have to take a branch that has perfectly good green leaves and cut it off. What happens when life decides to cut off what was living and doesn't take what was ugly, but takes what was beautiful already? That's tough. And I looked at my tree, I said, my tree, I love you, almost like the giving tree, but I need you to grow. I want you to grow. I have a design for you. I have a plan for you. And in order for that to happen, I'm going to need to cut off some branches. I'm going to have to cut off everything that was at this level. For the tree's perspective, everything was fine. I grew, I'm okay. And now I'm growing and spreading my branches, growing leaves, even when people didn't think I could grow leaves, and I'm doing it at this level. But I had a different plan. I said, I know you're growing at this level, but I have another level for you to grow to. In order for that to happen, I need to cut off the branches at this level. Life be lifing. There is a ancient Japanese tradition with the bonsai tree, even referenced in the movie Karate Kid. I love Karate Kid. And Mr. Miyagi says, with the bonsai tree, you clip here, you tie there, you bind it, you wrap it, you clip it, you prune it, and you make it grow into a pattern that the gardener has. You put the image, the picture, and then you make the tree fit the picture. What happens when life wants you to fit its picture? Now, many of us are pretty rebellious and will say, no, I will not go with what they want me to do, what the picture wants me to say. I will grow how I want to grow. But then I noticed something else. Every time I prune the tree, the roots grow deeper, the trunk gets bigger, the branches grow taller. The tree starts to grow, and not just grow out, but because of my pruning, it learns to grow up. I think there's a difference between growing out and then growing up. Because growing out means you're unrestrained and you do what you want to do, but you always stay at that level. But to grow up, you've got to learn how to take some pruning. You've got to learn how to take chastening, some cutting, some surgically designed incisions. And yeah, even losing things that were full of life. This is the hard part about growing up, because not a lot of people want to go through this process. In fact, when it comes to resilience, no one ever says, I'm going to be resilient. You almost have to have demonstrated resilience in order to actually have resiliency. Resilience is not easy because you have to go through some cutting. It requires going through a very tough situation, sometimes things and traumas that you didn't want to happen. But it's because there was a gardener. Life be life, and there was a gardener that had an image for you that was greater than you growing out, but hopefully to make you grow up. And I've learned to trust the gardener a little bit more. There's this book I know that says he chastens the one he loves. That he has an idea and a predestined picture that he wants the garden to look like. So because of that, he doesn't just let it grow crazy, even though it could. It has every free will. But I noticed the difference between a robber and a surgeon. They both cut you, but a robber runs away with what he did. But a surgeon stays around and stitches you back up so that you heal in the right direction. The gardener is like that. He prunes you, cuts off things that were alive, but still sticks around to make sure that you grow and heal in the right direction. I've learned that life can be lifing, but it actually means that you have a lot more life left. So don't despise the pruning. Sometimes the gardener has a bigger picture in mind and wants to help you grow up. I hope you had a good time with us. We'll see you soon.